This is The Healthy Healer, where true voice is your medicine. This is where we help doctors and other healers navigate through the challenging times by learning from the best minds in the healing industry. Laugh, cry, and be surprised. It's entertainment, education, and inspiration so you can continue to be the unique and amazing healer you were destined to be. Welcome to humanity. Welcome to The Healthy Healer with Dr. Fred.
Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Fred. And this week we were blessed with the presence of Holly Beck, who came in and told us a little bit about how she has become a healer, how she's become a coach in the woman's chronic illness space. Holly has stepped into that world after having a life of her own that actually predicts in some level that if she's able to overcome the obstacles that were awaiting her in her 20s, she would be able to help people at a very high level. And that's where she finds herself now. Holly is an esteemed healer in the world of coaching women to learn more adequate and more reliable ways of keeping themselves healthy so that they don't have to go into allopathic medicine or conventional medicine with symptoms that need to be addressed, but they can actually preventatively take care of themselves so that their health is managed. And by doing simple practices and simple, well-known activities, keep themselves healthy beforehand so that the symptoms themselves, whether they be chronic or in her case, even autoimmune, seem not to be required to arise. So Holly is an amazing inspiration, right? She was diagnosed with a very bad case of mononucleosis in her early 20s. And this led eventually to her getting some conventional treatment that was ineffective, and then exploring multiple other treatments that were a little bit greater effectiveness, but still didn't cure her disease, and then left her with multiple years of dealing with chronic conditions often associated with the Epstein-Barr virus, which are the conditions of chronic fatigue and other conditions of just staying sick and staying under the weather. So Holly has explored multiple ways to deal with all this, and in that process has learned through learning how to be an herbologist and all of her studies, how to step into a life that really matters and to take powerful control of her life as the author of her life. This is something we can all do and we can all learn from. Holly had a notable history of being chronically ill, and this also included her going and getting a diagnosis of systemic lupus. She mentions at one point that she was feeling very strong when she transposed herself into Hawaii and the Kauai, and had a great time there where she felt healthy even in the midst of having a condition. But on the way back to San Diego, where she was living at the time, she again began to feel desperately miserable, and wonders what all that is regarding the energy exchange that she must have been going through. She also realizes that mononucleosis was given to her after the end of a very, sounds like an abusive or at least a toxic relationship she was in at that time. And that mono came on the back end of that when she was simply ready to feel free from the toxicity of her relationship, and instead was really sidelined with mononucleosis diagnosis. She's able to look at how energy played a role there and comes up with some definitions in the podcast of ways to look at that and ideas as to the impact that energy has on our life as we manifest forward. Holly also found herself in a great place of spirituality that she likes to call God, and says that her life really took a major turn about 5 years ago when she found God, and that God has really helped her, or the spirituality that has been now introduced to her life has helped her, along with her education, along with her experience, to be someone who doesn't have the obstacles that she used to have. In the past, Holly had been embedded in fear and embedded in worry for the future, and now finds herself understanding the rhythm of life a little bit more, understanding the energies of life, and very happily steps into herself being a leader for other women who are going through chronic illness or going through difficult changes in their life, so that she can coach them. Or in fact, she has a podcast dedicated to that group of chronically ill or suffering women who really want some assistance in finding a new direction in their life. Holly is able to speak articulately to times in her life where she was without direction. And this is something that we all go through at some level. But Holly's articulation is very inspiring and lets us know that we too can take our chronic difficult times or our dips and turns in life and turn them into fuel or skill sets that can then be transmuted into becoming effective healers. By taking care of ourselves, we remove some of the obstacles or cobwebs from our life. And by doing so, we become more in tune with our core self, and then therefore more in tune with all of humanity and capable of aligning more effectively with other humans, and therefore becoming a healer who can assist others in healing. By creating a space for others to heal, we too create a space for ourselves to heal. And in that process, healing simply is the natural outcome. By naturally connecting to other people, this is how healing occurs. And human connection is at the heart of all healing, of all conditions, of all types, at least a massive prerequisite for each and every healing episode that we know of. So human connection is a beautiful space, and Holly has capitalized on learning how to be a connector after struggling so long with her personal difficulties with chronic illness that required both allopathic and non-traditional interventions to get her to where she is now. A truly inspiring conversation, one that we can all learn from. We get our dips and our turns and our downs and our ups, and each of them play a role in who we now become. And we can always break free of the prisons that we have created for ourselves, allowing us to step into what matters to us. And in many cases, what that really translates to is being of service to other people and helping them heal their lives. Holly has certainly manifested that in her life. And it's important to ask yourself of a question, which is, where in your life are you becoming a healer? Have you maximized your capacity to do so? And what is your intention in healing yourself on your way to becoming an effective healer for others? Thank you again for being an active listener of the Healthy Healer podcast. If you like this podcast and you like the other one, please feel free to subscribe and share and comment, because this is how this podcast is going to earn its stripes and actually get off to the people who are going to benefit from what gets discussed here. Thanks again for being a listener. I love you. I appreciate you very much. And we will catch you on the flip side. Bye for now.